Hello out there. Welcome to Gemini season. This is for all you Geminis. We have a little birthday celebration with my friend, dear friend, Marcy.
Hello, dears. It's Marcy here.
My name is Dr. Peggy Irwin at your service today. If you're appreciating this, I do appreciate a little bit of patronage. You can check out that Patreon link. So today, we're pulling cards for all our Geminis.
Happy
There's
birthday,
a lot of you out there.
Gemini.
And it's a big one. Tomorrow we have the eclipse.
Wee! It's going to be a big one.
Did you get your little cardboard cutout for the eclipse? Did you?
Oh no, it didn't come yet. It didn't come yet in the mail. We have to start over.
No, keep going. Okay. Okay, here we go. We got quite the lineup, quite the doozy of cards today. And I gotta say, last time we talked, folks, I was chilly, and today it is hot as hell out there.
Oofa. It's oofa hot here too.
I'm a shuffling. Oh, we just got a message to stop. So today I'm using these beautiful cards here. I'll put a link to those too. Some of my good classic favorite cards to use.
Yeah.
Hello out there. Okay.
And Marcy, that's me. Sometimes they say that, oh, Marcy, you're a little mouse, because I'm just quiet as a mouse. So today I'm going to use my psychic tarot cards. See? Can't wait to share with you.
Okay. First up, Rara. The theme for Rara is abundance. And I'm pulling one card. All right. We have the Four of Cups for you, Rara. So let's see how abundance is tied into your emotional fulfillment. What is emotionally fulfilling and stabilizing for you? I'm going to recommend that you actually look at your moon sign and the house placement it is in. That's going to be very important to figure out where your emotional fulfillment lies and how it's connecting in to your understanding of abundance. Emotions are very discounted in today's society, this materialist society and intellectual society. And I know all you Geminis are very intellectually stimulated and based. So I would recommend we do a little birthday reading for you, my dear, in which we can take it, examine your dear moon sign and what you need for emotional fulfillment. What do you have, Marcy?
So I got material and spiritual prosperity. Oh, isn't that wonderful for your abundance? I think that this is a sign that you are coming into a very good time of equilibrium and abundance. And with that, though, it's really important to make sure that you're giving and receiving, just to make sure that it keeps going in the circular fashion, like a fountain. Yeah. And with that, maybe you think about a charity or somebody that would like some help from you. And whether that could be materially or just spiritually, you can give both. And with that attitude, you will have abundance forever.
I love it. I'll also just quickly say the 4 is like a foundation. So there's 4 corners, 4 legs to a chair, and the cups is your filling of the cups, the emotional wealth, the emotional fulfillment. So thinking of that as a stabilizing factor to the giving and receiving. Okay. Poor little Kaka told their analyst, I don't want to do this anymore. As in, be me. Self-hatred. I'm pulling 2 for this one. Okay, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
You want me to go?
Sure. Sure, please.
Okay. So for this one, we have the 2 reversed, 2 of Wands reversed. So what I would say is this is related back into your creative center. And somehow you having some blocks in that center with going to the next step. So you need to loosen it up somehow, shake it off. I think you could do this physically. You could do this with your Hitachi wand and vibrator, or, various things that can stimulate sacral pleasure. You're not finding the pleasure in life. So it's good for you to then look at the little things. Look at the little things. Make little lists of the things that you do enjoy. There must be something about yourself that you do enjoy, or something, some sort of pleasure aspect. Maybe it's getting manicures, maybe it's wearing certain clothes. What is giving you the pleasure? And that can be stimulating, because then we do have the Queen of Swords. And this is really a remarkable card. The queen of your intellect, the queen of your mental state. So thinking about this infinity loop between your pleasure center, and what you need there can stimulate this huge capability you have to be the queen of your mental sphere and your intellect. You're very intellectual, my dear, but you really need to reach between the 2 worlds. What do you have, Marcy?
Well, I picked 5, the wisdom card, which is really the Hierophant. So that really just goes right with what you were saying, that maybe, you're so much more than just a physical being. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. And maybe there's just so much going on in your head, and this cognitive thinking with this negative self-talk that it seems like too. And maybe with the Hierophant as well, not only with bridging the spiritual world, but maybe there's a teacher or a group of like-minded individuals that is good to have the connection with, right? So that way you can get out of yourself and have this connection and grow together. I think it's really important that you realize that you're just not alone, dear. You're not alone, and you're loved. And then for my second card, I felt like it was appropriate to draw from the Angel Oracle deck. And the one that I picked was Enchantment, right? I think that also says that this negativity or this view that you have of not wanting to be you, maybe it's important to realize that there are miracles everywhere, and that the world is just full of enchantment and magic. But it's really important for us to be able to see that if we take the blinders off from the inside of our soul, right? Because otherwise we could just walk through the world and only look down and see the cracks in the sidewalk instead of looking up and seeing the beautiful trees. So my dear, oh, I love you. We all love you. And just reach out and reach out.
Yeah, and about the teacher, I like that idea. And it's maybe that you should find a new teacher, somebody that knows the ways to stimulate the pleasure and the intellect together.
And awaken.
Okay, here we go. Next question. This is for Lady M. My question is, should I date a girl who has a Gemini mom with the same name as me? Well, my darling, I mean, really answer this question from all my years experience. No, but I will surely pull a card for you. Well, touche. I have the Page of Wands. And we can maybe say it's time to get creative. And there is a newness here, a new creativity happening. And so this card is kind of saying yes, and that a name is just a name, and a mom is, well, it's a mom, but what can we do, you know? Explore the option. So it's saying, yeah, try it out. What do you have to lose? I mean, it could be a little weird, but don't just listen to me and my subjective concepts about dating, because I don't really understand the dating world now these days here. So what do I know?
Well, my dear, look what I got. Oh, but let me turn it around. It's the heart chakra card. So, yes. So I think absolutely check in with your heart, right? And maybe in your heart, there's curiosity with this, but maybe it's important to really examine, to let go of the fear so that you can really approach this and try this on. Oh, from a very good center place of love, and maybe let's do some breath work around your heart chakra and opening it up. And make sure you also do it from behind. A lot of people forget about the heart, the channel behind, right? So I'd say go for it and let your heart shine.
Yeah. Okay. This next question comes from the darling Brittany. Okay, what is the next step for me in career? Trying to exit the corporate world. By the way, my darling friend Kiki is beta testing some things that she would love for you to participate in that just have to do with what you're talking about. So be prepared to maybe be asked to be a beta tester for that shift, the paradigm shift. Something interesting to work through. Now, for you, you've gotten the Five of Swords. So there's a lot of temptation around, mental temptation. And I think for you, I would actually recommend this book here that I have. It's called The Soul of Money. I'm going to send you some chapters from this book because I think it will help you wrap your head around what's real and what's not when it comes to money and entering in this kind of post-capitalism mentality that you're after. and how to survive in a capitalist society, late capitalist society that's crumbling before our eyes. We know it's no good, we know it's not sustainable, but how do we maneuver through it at this very end? I always like to think about back when I was a little girl and I would be in school thinking that, oh, thank goodness I'm not in those Middle Ages. But here we are, here we find ourselves. Dear God, that Social Security don't run out on me. Knock on the wood. Okay.
This is very interesting. I got the waiting game. So, my dear, I think that this is very perfect because it seems you worked so hard to get to where you are, right? And you're considering this and you're aware that you want to make these changes and you put in so much effort. But now it's kind of just like waiting to see what's going to happen, right? And you're in a place that, oh, maybe there's a little bit of fear, right? Because of what has served you in the past. You're trying to let go of that and dismantle it, but at the same time, you're a little bit afraid to let it go because of that deep down security that's just been ingrained and washed in you. I think it's really important that you continue to listen to your intuition. You have all of the answers inside, and only you can connect to your divine and to your soul to really uncover that, your true passion and your purpose. And I just give you all the most encouragement. And even though it may be slow going, you've got what it takes to work through this. Yes.
And then there was a possession in the sound, a ricochet. Okay. Our final question comes from Edgar, our darling friend Edgar. It's not really a question, but something that's been on their mind these days. And that is, there are unforeseen forces at work that you are not in control of, at least the way you think you are. Very powerful concept to embrace in this late capitalism. Very, very relevant to the rest of the questions that we just pulled for. Think about that, everybody that just read through these questions we just read through. So relevant to career, anything, everything. Relinquishing control. So here we go. We pull cards around this concept. The card I just pulled, oh my goodness. And then I'm gonna do one more. Maybe even another one. Yeah. This is surely something. Okay. So let's see. Want to go first or should I, darling?
The first, I pulled two cards. In the first card I pulled here, it is positive movement forward. So I think that this states that even though time may not be linear, but our energy and efforts can be, I believe. And we're always propelling and working through things and moving forward. And to me, this does give some hope that this is end capitalism. And that it also, I want to note too, it's the number 8 card too, right? So that represents infinity and the possibilities. I think it's important to know too that we have certain goals. Personally, I never liked the term goals, right? When you'd be sitting there and someone say, what are your goals? What is your goal for in 5 years? And to me, those were capitalist goals in a way that I had to try to fit into with this corporate structure. And oh, it just crushed my soul. But when I look at this, I see our souls moving forward as a collective and coming out of this and building great things. And the second card that I drew is 2, spiritual union. And I think that this goes hand in hand with the dismantling too of the traditional ideas of what spiritual union might be, or between people, or man and wife, and just to break that all down, to know that we're all spiritually connected in that way. And we all can have union with each other, individually, collectively, and also most importantly within, because we all have the divine within. I think it's very important that we keep that goal in mind when we're focusing on positive movement forward together.
Oh, yes. Love it. Okay. Well, for me, are you finished?
Yes.
First, I've received the Inferno. Quite relevant to today's times, don't we think? We are literally scalding on this planet. And there are unforeseen forces at work behind this. Recently, we've seen the unfortunate news that in America, where we are, the entire Southwest is in a severe drought. Fire season is about to start. There is quite a concern. And with this, we must really, really, really come into a place of collective responsibility. While we don't know what's going to happen, we can take our free will and do something with it. And that is really, really important right now. Now, right after that card, I've gotten the 10 of Cups. When we see this gent or them carefully carrying all these 10 cups filled with water. And this, my dear, is collective grief. And how does that play out into the unforeseen forces you are not in control of? We don't know, but what we can do is sit with our grief and grow as a person. The grief will not diminish, my dears. It will stay the same. And what happens is we must learn how to manage the grief we have experienced. It will never go away, my dears. So for you, you must be gentle with yourself, because it's very important in this hard present moments we find ourselves to again look at the little things that matter. Now, I've pulled one last card from this beautiful set, the Tempest. Okay, I'm going to read it straight from the book that came with this cards because I think it's so beautiful. And Sarah Jude Faulkner did such a lovely job with these cards. Tempest. You might be able to predict from whence it comes, but you won't be able to trace its path until after the fact, when its wake is inscribed in the wreckage of left behind. How to prepare? You could tie down or cover what you feel generally benefits from the treatment, but you can also open all the doors and windows to relieve the barometric pressure and let some fresh air into your dusty, dark abode. The particulars of your situation will dictate whether you should hide in the basement with loved ones or let winds fill your sails and carry you where they will. If the gales begin to howl and you're unprepared, at least know that a storm's upheaval is temporary and won't last forever. In Shakespeare's play, the Tempest is deliberately summoned with magic and art. A shipwreck is a stratagem, and the play within the play were allegory and poetry into the cyclone of transformation. As Shakespeare wrote his verses, European empire was sending its fleets to colonize lands across oceans, and so shipwreck was the ruin of royal expedition, was the saving grace reprieve of indigenous islanders. A tempest before you, reprieve. Oh, you cannot control chaos, but you can try and set things to spin and practice graceful pirouettes in response. Some people cannily spin advantage and profit from a storm's disaster and exaggerate its effects, if not create them outright. Beware. Over time, pay attention to the frequency with which this card appears. If Tempest arises from dynamic energies and volatility in a larger system, stop focusing on the objects and parts and start studying processes and movement. And I cannot hear you, my dear.
I was just saying from this positive movement forward card in the ship, it just goes quite well.
Mm-hmm. So this concept Edgar's thinking of, it comes from a lovely Leah Garza, who had more to say, which we shall now read.
Yes. Your investment in physical reality as the only reality creates a barrier for working with the unseen forces. Leah, you make offerings to spirits and acknowledgments to ancestors, earth spirits, land spirits. You study the Akashic records. You have been told over and over that you are not alone, but accompanied, cared for, guided. And yet you insist on dismissing this when you feel depressed. You feel alone, like no one is there for you. You are insistent on the real reality being the only real thing. And the things you can see and what you see is hardship or pain. You tend to believe that is all there is. You are invited to have faith, not a religious or political faith that you can be codependent on and create an invisible narrative of a greater power thinking for you. Faith as a bridge to the unseen world. Faith as a practice of embodying theory. Intentional faith. Faith as a life way. This is the walk through the looking glass, a convergence and divergence point in reality. When you trust in unseen forces, everything in the material world may remain the same, but your experience is what changes. You release stuckness, fixedness, the hardness of your perceived human world. You are a child here that is free to play, is always looked after and cared for. You will always be our child. But without faith in the unseen, you will continue to try to control your reality, and you won't get to feel the ease of relaxing. You choose, my dears.
I'm going to just repeat that last little bit because it's so relevant to every single question and so the themes of nowness. When you trust in unseen forces, everything in the material world may remain the same, but your experiences, what changes? You release stuckness, fixedness, the hardness of your perceived human world. You are a child here that is free to play, is always looked after and cared for. You will always be our child. But without faith in the unseen, you will continue to try and control your reality, and you won't get to feel ease of relaxing. You choose. That's a tough cookie to swallow, my dears, but that is some truth if I ever did hear it.
I think it just, personally for me, oh, I just feel like I can breathe, that there's such a weight that's taken off of my shoulders and thinking I have to do all of this alone. That's hard. That's hard.
And
But
it comes back to collectivity, the power we have collectively
together.
to move forward and embrace the unseen and not operate out of fears.
That's the biggest thing. And
Especially for us whiteys.
and how do we move past fear? Oh, by facing our fears, even if it's a little at a time. Takes courage to truly live from our hearts.
Okay. I'm doing 2 more cards, one for 2 birthdays. Okay, I feel it. It's here. This one's for Yanni Cakes. Oh my fucking Yanni Cakes. You got your card, the magician. You got your birthday card. Oh, your soul card, magician. I just shuffled for many minutes and out popped this guy. Oh, Yanni, you really are a magician, I do say. And a lot of you Geminis are. The Gemini and the magician really connect together. They really, really do. And so I just want to say, you know, Yanni Cakes, work that magic, baby. Work that magic. You got a card for Yanni Cakes?
Yes. This is Patty Cakes. This is Patty Cakes. Says happy birthday to Yanni Cake. Patty Cakes picked the Rest and Rejuvenate card, which is also number 4. So this says, in this time, oh, there's so much celebration that could be happening around your birthday and all of the magic that's always around you. Remember, it's okay to go inward. You must rest and have that within that deep rest, rejuvenation, replenishing. And also say this is the number 4 card. As Dr. Peggy mentioned earlier, you know, 4 is foundation. And it's hard to have a very firm foundation if you don't give yourself that time to rejuvenate, be in nature, connect with Mother Earth, feel that, fill up
Come
your...
to the cottage, honey. I'll fix you up some lemonade and cookies.
Woo, chocolate chip cookies.
Whatever Yanni Cake's favorite cookies are, I'll make. Okay, one last one for the road. We have Prince's birthday, June 7, 1958. I'm summoning that Prince. Boy, do I miss him. they were such a magical being. And Prince got the star. Of course, Prince got
Oh,
the star. Do I need to say anything more?
no. In Prince got the universe or the world. I don't need to say anymore either.
Prince, we feel your shower of love around us. Bless you one and all. Have a magical day. Take it easy on the eclipse. Don't
Yes,
absorb
loves.
too many informations. Shut off your phone. Shut off the news.
Don't wear black.
Put on frankincense for Mercury retrograde or burn it. And yep, just take a chill pill. Go stare at some water. Do some scrying. Go to the nature. Thank you so much for joining, Marcy.
Oh,
Again,
thank you. Thank you, dear Peggy.
if you enjoyed this special, please tune in for next time. We'll be doing Cancer with some EFT tapping. And we will see you then.
Goodbye, darlings.